So this is Venkat. I have about more than 7 years of experience in the data warehousing environment and as well as the Informatica developer. And I'm the certified Informatica developer. So before going to learn Informatica, so I would like to walk you through some of the important concepts in the data warehouse. Informatica Powercenter is the ETL tool. So as a part of this training, we are going to learn Informatica Powercenter, which is from Informatica Corporation, which works like a ETL tool in the data warehousing theory. Okay, so that is the reason for the first 3 to 4 classes, right? So the training will be started from the scratch, like so we are going to understand what is a data warehouse, okay, what is the role of Informatica, okay, so what kind of modeling is done here, right? So what is the OLTP and what is the OLAP systems, right? And what kind of tables are present here. So what is the role of BI tools, right? So what is the role of ETL tools that we have here, right? So all these fundamental data warehousing concepts we are going to understand for the first 3 to 4 classes. Okay, so once we understand that, so we'll try to understand how the Informatica Powercenter works. Okay, so as a part of this training, we are going to implement a mini project. Okay, we are going to implement a mini project. So when we are understanding these sessions, when we are going with the sessions, so we'll try to work on this case study which we are going to implement as a part of the training. So when implementing this, you're going to understand what is the role as an ETL developer, right? So what is the how the project whole project life cycle and what is the process that we follow in the real time. So what are you going to do on the daily basis, right? So all those things you will be understanding as a part of this mini project. Okay, so when it comes to the installation of Informatica Powercenter, right? So it's the latest version that we have is it's a 9.5.1. It's the latest version that we have, and with Oracle database. So we are going to understand the latest version with the Oracle database. So Oracle database here works as a data warehouse, and so this software will be given by BigClasses. It will be given by BigClasses in a VMware. So BigClasses guys, folks will be installing this VMware software in your machines. So you need not worry about the installation. And as a part of the training, I am going to show how to do the installation and the configuration of Powercenter. Installation and the configuration will be shown as a part of this training. Okay, so since database, we are going to work on the Oracle database. So the prerequisite, when you talk about the prerequisite, yes, so you need good knowledge on any good SQL knowledge. Yes, good SQL knowledge and PL SQL knowledge. Right, and Unix commands and Unix scripting. Right. So these are the prerequisites of learning this Powercenter. Okay, so for the first three classes, we are going to discuss only the data warehousing concepts. So I want you to brush up all the SQL knowledge that you have it. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, we'll actually start the a regular session. For today, we'll try to understand what is a data warehouse, right? What is the purpose of data warehouse, and what are the different systems that we involve in this concept. We'll try to understand that. Okay, right. So for any organization or any company, so data plays a major role, right? So data plays a major role. So what is the purpose of storing the data? Yes, it's for data analysis or the business. The main purpose of storing the data is for business analysis. Business analysis. So let us say if we have any retail system, let us say we have some KFC restaurant. So this is the So this is the retail outlet that we have. So it's nothing but it's a fast food restaurant that basically serves the food items to the customers. So whenever any customer comes to the restaurant for any food item, or if a customer makes any online transaction seeking for a food item, so what happens is that the customer has to enter the details of him through the front-end application. So KFC will have a front-end application. Yes, it will have a front-end application. So using that application, yes, the customer is going to enter the details. Yes, customer details will be entered. So when we talk about this front-end application, so the front-end application is designed with any of the front-end languages that we have. So it could be designed based on the programming languages like Java, .NET, or D2K forms, or C# or PHP, any kind of programming languages. This front-end interface is designed. So since the front-end application, since the front-end interface is not capable of storing the information that the customer is entering, but we need the information or data in order to have the business analysis. So how we are going to store the data? So for this purpose, we got we have something called as backend applications, which you call it as server or database. Server or database. Right? So since the front-end application is not capable of storing the information, the data should be stored somewhere in order to have the future reference of the business analysis. So for this reason, we have the backend technologies, which is nothing but server or the database. So what is a database now? So a database is nothing but it's a software package that we have. It's a software package. It's a software package that contains the data in the form of tables. So we have the data in the form of tables in the database. So the information from the front-end application through the communication box, so it enters the data into the database. So these databases which supports the application, we call it as a application database. So when we talk about the databases that we have many databases in the market, like Oracle is the database, which is from Oracle Corporation. Yes, we have SQL Server, which is from Microsoft. Sybase, which is acquired by SAP. Right? DB2, which is from IBM. Teradata, which is from Teradata Corporation, which is from Teradata. So these are the popular databases that we have it in the current market, and so these databases are the packages which contains the data in the form of tables. Right? So every application needs to have a place in order to maintain all the users' data. So for all the operational aspects of this system, so these databases or these systems, we call it as a OLTP systems. OLTP systems. So which is nothing but online transactional processing system. Online transaction processing systems. So these OLTPs are nothing but this is the data processing systems where its design is optimized in such a way that it can receive a single record at a time. So let us say we have many OLTP systems in the current market that we see, like the railway applications, yes, airline applications, okay, order entry applications, banking applications, ATM withdrawal center, and you have any kind of e-commerce application that we have, like Flipkart or eBay or Amazon, right? So these are all the examples of these are all the examples of the OLTP systems that we have. So the OLTP systems, so let us say if you have booked a product in the e-commerce application in the Amazon, if you have booked a product in the OLTP system, so you're nothing but you're adding the data to the OLTP system, which you call it as a transaction. You're adding the data. So which is nothing but a transaction. So you do a lot of transactions as a part of our daily life in this OLTP systems. So in this OLTP system, very frequent transactions will be happening. So that is the reason OLTPs are the systems which carries out all the operational transactions that we have. So the OLTPs are continuously available, means that the users of this application will have round-the-clock access, and it contains a predefined access path. Right? So it supports, it basically supports the day-to-day transactions and will have a large number of users using this OLTP systems, because it contains a very frequent amount of transactions will be carried out on this OLTP system. So what is meant by transaction? So a transaction is nothing but it's a set of DML operations. DML is either we insert the data, yes, or we update the data. Either we insert the data or we update the data, which is on the application with respect to the database. So these systems are called as a OLTP systems, which contains all the operational transactions. So because of this importance, so the OLTPs are the first part of the organization that has to be computerized. So let us say I am the sales manager of the KFC restaurant. The KFC restaurant, and I wanted to analyze how the business is running across USA, across the country USA. So I have three different OLTP systems here. Three different OLTP systems are there. So one is situated at New York, another one is situated at New Jersey, and another one is situated at so let us say Boston. Okay, so you have New York system, you have let's say New Jersey, and you have Boston. Okay, so you have three different OLTP systems are there. And which are present. One is present in the Oracle database, another one is present in SAP, another one is present in mainframe systems. Okay, so we have three different regions where it contains its own OLTP system. All the New York transactions will be stored in the Oracle database. All the New Jersey transactions will be stored in SAP, all the Boston transactions will be stored in the mainframe database, mainframe system, right? So we have three different systems. So all these systems are a part of OLTP systems. So these are all the OLTP systems which contains all the operational transactions of the retail company. Okay. So at each region we have the data independently present. So if I am the decision maker or let us say if I am the sales manager of the company, so I wanted to understand how the business is running across the whole USA country. So first of all, what I'll do, since the data is not integrated here, so what I'll do is that I'll walk down first into New York system. Okay, I'll walk down first into New York system. I'll analyze how the business is running here. In the same way, I'll walk down to New Jersey. I'll check how the business is running here. I'll walk down to Boston. I'll check how the business is running here. So I go to each system, okay, which is present in different regions in order to understand how the business is running. So when you go to each system, so what happens here? So it's a time-consuming process. Okay, so it's a time-consuming process in order to go to each region in order to understand the business. It's a time-consuming process. And another one is that, so the OLTP systems, it has the property like it always contains the current data. So current data in the sense, at present data. So let us say if you go to any ATM machine, if you see the mini statement of your account, so what happens? It is going to show you the last 5 to 10 transactions of your account. Only the last 5 to 10 transactions. So if it contains only the last 5 to 10 transactions, okay, so you will not be able to get the last week transactions or the last month transactions or the last year transactions because it contains only the current data. So if I have to analyze how the business is running, so I basically need the historical data but not the current data, right? So I can do the analysis. I cannot do the analysis based on the current data. So I have to compare my business with the different time zones or different time periods in order to understand how the business is actually running, right? In order to understand how the business is actually running. So I have to make analysis in such a way that when comparing the business on the daily basis or the weekly basis or the quarterly basis or the yearly basis, if my business is running well, so it means that I'm getting profits, right? So I can go for a better expansion of my business. If my business is not running well, so I should look into what are the steps I have to make it in order to make the improvement of the business that we currently have. So this kind of analysis I can do only when I have the historical data but not the current data. But if you look into the OLTP systems will always contain only the current data, right? And so the information that is present in the OLTP system is not able to provide the analysis because it contains the current data, right? Because it contains the current data. And here in the OLTP system, if I have to take a decision, I mean, if I have to analyze the whole country analysis, since the data is not integrated here, since the data is scattered across multiple locations, the data is not integrated here. So when the data is not integrated, so it is not possible to analyze the whole business as the data is not simulated. So no integrated data is present. And so we have different standards. You have different standards present in each OLTP system. Means for a gender, yes. So the standard that is followed here is let us say it's male female. The standards that you follow here is 10. Yes, the standard that is followed here is it could be some MF. So we have different standards. Okay, different standards are present here. And so whenever you build a report based on the OLTP system, so since you have multiple technologies here, so you cannot get the data. Any reporting tool or any tool, in order to present the report, it is not capable to get the data when you have the data in multiple technologies or multiple systems. Right? So one is present in Oracle, another one is SAP, another one is mainframes. So you have multiple technologies where the data is available. So till now there is no tool in the market that is invented where it can fetch the data from multiple technologies and show it in the report. Right? So because of all these disadvantages, so if I have to analyze my business, so how can I do that? So for that, what happens is that, so I'm going to build a very big database. So what I'll do, I'll extract the information from every OLTP system. Okay, I'll extract the information from every OLTP system. I'll transform the data and I'll load the data into a very big database which is called as a data warehouse. So what is the data warehouse now? So the data warehouse is again a database. It's again a RDBMS, right? It is again built on a database, so which contains the data that is useful for the analysis purpose. So we extract the data from multiple OLTPs, which is called as a data extraction. The process is called as data extraction. So the data is read from all the OLTP systems, which is called as a data extraction. So if we have multiple formats of the data, so we are going to transform that into a single format or a homogeneous format, which is called as a data transformation. And once the data is transformed into a homogeneous format, we load the data into the very big database called as data warehouse. This process is called as a data loading. So we extract the data from multiple OLTPs, we transform the data into a homogeneous format, and we load the data into a very big database which is called as a data warehouse. So the data warehouse is not a technology, it's nothing but it's a theory. Okay, it's a theory or a process that is followed on a database in order to understand how the business is running. So the data warehouse is very big in nature, where it contains large volumes of data. Means that how it contains large volumes of data, for every transaction that is made in the OLTP system, so every transaction will be loaded to the data warehouse. Every single transaction. At the end of the day, every single transaction will be loaded to the data warehouse in order to analyze the business. Yes. So since it contains large volumes of data, and this data we call it as historical data. So why it is called as historical data is that, so if we have started implemented a data warehouse, let us say from 2012. So it contains the data from 2012 to 13, 14 and 15. So it contains the data over a period of years. Correct. So when it contains the data over a period of years, so we can easily analyze how the business is running. It's a kind of read-only database. It's a read-only. So we are not going to do any updations or anything here. So yes, so it's a read-only database. So where we load the data here and using the data in the data warehouse. Yes. So we build the reports in order to understand how the business is running. Okay, so it's a read-only database, and so using this database we can actually take the decisions like how the business is running. So there is a reason it's a decision supporting system. So when you say data warehouse, so it can be built on any database. So it can be built on either Oracle, it can be built on Teradata, It can be built on SQL Server. So it can be built on any database that you have it. If it can be built on any database that we have, right? So this part, the extraction of the data from multiple OLTPs, transformation of the data that is extracted, and loading of the data into the data warehouse, this process is called as a ETL process. And this is done by the ETL developers by making use of the ETL tool. So when I say ETL tool, it's nothing but we have many different ETL tools that we have in the market. One is Informatica Powercenter. Yes, we have data stage. So we have ab initio. So we have SAP data services. We have SSIS. So this is from Microsoft. So this we have it from SAP. So this is from ab initio Corporation. So this is from IBM. Data stage is from IBM. And Informatica Powercenter is from the Informatica Corporation. So out of all these, so Informatica stands on the top of all the ETL tools that we have because of this flexibility for working and training also, right? So as a ETL developer, so you are going to design these ETL processes like how to transform the data, how to extract the data from the OLTP system, how to transform the data, and how to load the data into the data warehouse. So this is taken as the source. This is taken as the source, and this is the target that we have where we are going to load it. So as a ETL developer, you are employed to design the ETLs in order to load the data into the data warehouse. So once you have loaded the data as a ETL developer into the data warehouse, right? So what you will do is that, so the here, so if you give the data warehouse to the if you ask the managers or the business users to look into the data warehouse and analyze the business, they cannot do that because they are not the technical persons to query the data and understand how the business is running. So because of this reason, so what happens is that we have a specific other area called as a presentation layer. So in this presentation layer or a BA layer, so the BA tools are going to access the business intelligence tools are going to access the data from the data warehouse. They're going to access the data from the data warehouse and they build the reports. They select the data or queries the data. So both are the same. So the BA tools queries the data from the data warehouse and they present the data in the form of reports. So when I say a report, it could be in a pie diagram or a bar graph or a tabular format or a dashboard. So they'll prepare the reports, and using this report, if the business user or the sales manager, they can understand how the business is running. So when I say BA tools, so we have many BA tools in the market, like so Cognos is a popular BA tool, SAP BO, SSRS. So Cognos is from IBM. So we have SAP BO, which is from SAP. So we have SSRS, which is from Microsoft. Right. So different other MicroStrategy, which is from MicroStrategy Corporation. So we have different other BA tools that we have. So which presents the data in the form of reports in order to represent the data. So by understanding the reports, yes, by seeing the reports, so the business users they are going to analyze how the business is running. So which is the particular outlet that is getting the good revenue. So who is the best customer that we have. So what are the particular days we are actually getting good revenue on which product we are getting profits. So what kind of promotions I can make on the existing products, and how much profit I am attaining on the daily basis or the monthly basis or the yearly basis. So what kind of analytical, by looking the data into the from the data warehouse, we can actually analyze, we can actually take the analytical decisions on it. So this kind of analysis we can do by using the BA tools, by using the reports that is prepared upon the data warehouse. So since this database is useful for the analysis of the business, so this is called as a OLAP, which is nothing but online analytical processing system. Online analytical processing system. Yes, so the data warehouse is called as a OLAP system. Both are the same. So either we can call it as data warehouse or the OLAP system. So online analytical processing system. Right. So here the BA developer. So the role we call it as a BA developer. So the BA developers they are going to prepare the reports based on the data that we have it in the data warehouse. But so as an Informatica developer, so what you do is that you're going to design the plan of ETLs, like how to extract the data from the OLTP system and how to load the data into the data warehouse. So as an Informatica developer, as an Informatica Powercenter developer, so you have to work on the some of the client tools that we have. So Informatica client tools. Informatica client tools. So these Informatica client tools, they basically help you to understand the tool. So let me show you the sample ETL how it looks. So this is the Informatica Powercenter 9, right? So this is how a ETL process looks. This is the ETL process. So this is the source that we have, so which is nothing but the employee table. So this is taken as the source, and we are going to load the data into this another table that we have it as a target. So taking the data from the source, we are going to load the data into this target definition. So we have these are all the different transformations that we have, which is used to transform the data. And according to the functionality of the transformations, so we have many number of transformations here. So these transformations help us to transform the data into a particular format, and we load the data into the dimensions by using the, into the target tables by using the different strategies that we have it. So this is how the ETL looks here. So the ETL, in the ETL process in the Powercenter, we call it as a mapping. So ETL process, we call it as mapping. Right. So as a ETL developers, so you are employed in order to create these mappings. So in order to load the data into the target that we have it. Okay. Right. So this is about Informatica. So the basic understanding, like what is the OLTP system and what is the OLAP system, and what are the different tools that are involved here. Right? Okay. So when I say Informatica, so Informatica Powercenter, so we have it, so where it is used mostly in the data warehousing projects. So we have two kinds of projects here. So one is data integration projects and the data warehouse projects. So the Informatica Powercenter is used as a, so it is basically data integration tool. It's a data integration tool. So that can be used as a ETL tool in the data warehousing projects and the data integration tool in the data warehousing project. So when I say data integration, it's nothing but it's migrating the data from from one system to another system. So when I say system, it could be from SAP to SAP, it could be from mainframe to mainframe, or from Oracle to Teradata. It's a kind of data migration projects that we have, which is called as a data integration project. So data warehousing projects is what we have discussed now. So it's nothing but moving the data from multiple OLTPs into a single database, which is useful for analysis of the business. So Informatica Powercenter is basically used in two kinds of projects. One is a data integration, another is a data warehouse projects. Okay. So this is about the demo. So yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Yes.
Hey Venkat, this is Chandresh.
Yes.
Why do we need Unix command and scripting for Powercenter?
See, when you have when you work as an ETL developer, so basically Informatica Powercenter is something. In most of the projects, maybe we can say 70% of the projects we are implementing in the Unix on the Unix or the Linux book, Unix or Linux operating system. Okay. So in order to access these servers, you should have the knowledge on Unix commands. So you may have to copy the files onto the server. You may have to archive the files. You may have to understand how the files are present in the server. Okay. So not every time you will be having. That's what I'm saying. Not every time you will be having the source as the OLTP system.
But
so you may have some.
Sorry, it could be possible that we could have Windows as a server, right?
Windows as well. That's what I'm saying. So another and still you can say you worked on Windows, but you should need you need. So nowadays it's a mandatory one. So if you go to any interview or if you see any job, so nowadays so Unix is a mandatory one. You should have it.
And how much Powercenter are we gonna learn from this training?
How much? I didn't get your question. What is that?
I mean, are we gonna learn from A to Z for the Powercenter, or we just gonna go overview of the Powercenter?
No, it's not like overview. So you're going to get 100% stuff out of this training. So even you go to the real time also, you're going to use the same scenarios and the same options that we are going to use here. So there also you will use the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Venkat, I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. So can we install Informatica in Mac?
No.
Okay.
You cannot. So if you have Windows missions, that's what. So they're going to give you the VMware. Okay. So working on VMware is sometimes so it's it needs a lot of RAM for that. So that's the reason I'll send you the softwares of the latest version of Powercenter, and I'll show you how to do the installation also. So you can work on that. Right. Yes, sir. Any more questions?
Yeah, so in this 25 days training, I mean, does it include the hands-on also that we are going to do, or it's only the classes?
So it's including the hands-on. Yes.
Including the hands-on.
Correct.
When we are using this VMware, so is it Unix environment, or again it will be Windows only?
It's on Windows.
Windows. Okay. So we won't have any hands-on the Unix environment, right?
Unix, so no, as a part of this training we don't have it, but so I'll give you material on Unix. I'll give you the scenarios where you use the Unix commands and all.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, so instead of Unix, I'll tell you in the Windows scripting how we do the things. So, okay.
Okay. And how much is the use of the BI tools? I mean, is it necessary to learn BI tool, one of the BI tool also along with Informatica, or just the Informatica developer is enough in the market? I mean, going with the scenario.
So Informatica developer is enough, but it's good to have even the BI tool also. Good to have.
Question. What is the difference in SSIS and Informatica Powercenter?
SSIS, you think?
Yes, SSIS, SQL Server Integration.
Both of them are the ETL tools we have. Both of them are ETL tools, but since you're getting from different vendors, so you'll be having a separate interface here and a separate interface in Powercenter. So both of them are same. Both are used as yes, ETL tools.
ETL tool. So which one is more usable, SSIS or Powercenter?
It's definitely Powercenter. Because of that, see, so you have more number of projects which are implemented on Informatica. Because when you compare to the other ETL tools, it's of the moderate cost, the flexibility of the training, and the flexibility of the working, and understanding the tool, the options that are available. So because of this, all these reasons, Informatica Powercenter is the leading ETL tool that we have. And even so this is used in the data integration projects also, rather than
so which one is easy, Powercenter or SSIS?
So Powercenter is flexible out of all the other ETL tools.
Okay.
Flexible to learn.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, Venkat.
And
Hi, Premjit.
Venkat, well, when we have the maplets defined, we might be having such small maplets in many. So what process do we use to integrate all of these maplets in Powercenter?
You're saying maplet?
Yes, with whatever the mappings are there, because
Okay.
suppose I have 4 mappings done. Now I want tokens being taken from these mappings, and we suppose the mapping A has to get the conjunction of B and C. So B and C are added and put onto another area. So I want to have a mash of mappings, and how do I integrate in Informatica? For example, we have Oracle Fusion as the backbone. So what sort of backbone do we use on such environments in Informatica?
See, here, so we cannot integrate multiple mappings here. So one mapping is nothing but one ETL. Okay.
Yes.
So using the ETL, so you can extract the data from a single source definition or the multiple sources. We can load the data into a single target or a multiple target. Okay, using a single mapping. When we run that mapping, the data from the source will be sent to the target.
Yep.
Okay. So when you wanted to take the same, so let us say this demo_employees is there. So from the employees data, you are loading that into the demo_employees. So when you wanted to take this data in another mapping, you have to create another separate mapping for that. When you wanted to use the data from here, a separate mapping and the separate process you have to create. You understand that?
Yeah, I do understand. Suppose I've done that particular thing, right? I have created. So can I use mappings? In mappings, I would say, can I integrate a mapping inside another mapping? Basically, a mapping used as a sub maplet or something in Informatica.
Right. So that's a good question. Actually, you can have multiple data flows in a single mapping. So you cannot create a mapping inside another mapping, but you can have multiple pipelines. So this is a single pipeline, right? So in the same way, you can have multiple pipelines. N number of pipelines, you can have it in a single map.
Yep. Okay. But how do we load? Okay, with this is fine, because these particular mappings, when they are to be loaded, are they loaded manually?
So we can automate that. So it's too early to understand. We have a lot of concepts underlying that. So even if I say also, you can, you don't understand that clearly. So yes, we have separate process for each mapping that we have. Separate session has to be created, and the workflows has to be created for each session. The workflows that is created on top of these mappings will be scheduled, will be automated. They can be automated, but a mapping cannot be automated.
Right. Okay. So yes, you have answered my question. Where do we have the workflow that we are talking of? Suppose does Powercenter have a workflow system, or is it in Powercenter only we do the workflow, or there is a separate system as such?
So we have, as I said, right, so we have multiple client tools here. So in each client tool we do a different functionality. In one of the client tool of Powercenter we do the workflow creation. Okay.
Right. So it is in Powercenter only, one of the client tools. Because
Correct.
yes, with when you're looking up into earlier forms of Oracle Warehouse Builder, we had Oracle Workflow. That was a different
Correct.
tool.
Correct.
So
Correct.
because that's one of the Oracle Data Integrator does have everything integrated. So here everything is integrated in Powercenter only, right?
Correct. In different tools. I mean, so it will contain a package where you have a set of client tools. In the same client tools we do that.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes. Any more questions? Any more questions are there? Okay. Who logged in as HTML5 user? HTML5 user. Okay. So any questions, Nirmala? Yes, sir. Go ahead. Someone is asking that.
Yeah, very good. So coming on to the BI tools again. Which BI tool goes with Informatica as such? I mean, is it Cognos or any tool, or is it specific like ClickView or something?
We can go with any. It's not like a particular tool. We can go with any BI. It can go with any ClickView or Tableau or Cognos. So for for SAP system we have SAP BO. So we can have SAP BO with Informatica also. But most of the time it is Cognos, and nowadays Tableau is one. Tableau or ClickView. So
Okay.
yeah.
Do you do trainings on Tableau?
No, Pranjit. No. So any more questions? Any other questions? Okay. Okay, fine.